Hey guys, and welcome back to Schneid's 15. As you see today, we got something different behind me. Over there we got the KingQuad. I got my buddy's Quadrunner 250 here. He was having some issues with it charging, so I told him that I could probably take a look at it for him. So we got it here. I already got it fixed for him, but well, it's here. It's kind of odd. I always try and make these videos for Quadrunner and KingQuad, and it's hard to pinpoint both of them and the differences between them when I've never really seen a Quadrunner before. All I've ever seen is KingQuads. So we're gonna, since they're side by side, go over all the differences of them and just show you guys how different they are. And now it'll be easier for me to make videos on stuff, so we're just gonna do an all around quick run around. So obviously the Quadrunner is a 250 and the KingQuad's a 300. The main differences you're gonna know if you're just picking them out from the side of the road when you're driving by or something. This is really gonna look like a KingQuad from far away, guys. But the easiest way to tell, if you're going by them and you can see, you're gonna recognize that headlight up there, and they don't have the lights down here. And the easiest way to tell right away, the rims and tires are smaller. So you'll notice that. They don't have the trim on the front, the fender flare, and they're only a 4-bolt hub in the rear, where the KingQuad's 5-bolt and 4-bolt on the front. The KingQuad has your tires are 25, 10, 12, so they're 12-inch rims, and your backs on these are only 24, 11, 10. So they're pretty well the same size as the front here. These are 24, 8, 11, so we got 11 and 12, and this one's got two 10-inch rims on them. Believe it or not, they're the same size rims, they just look way different because the tires are so small. So the KingQuad, you're obviously got a differential, 4-wheel drive shafts, you got all kinds of different things over the Quadrunner. We'll get to them, but here everything else is pretty well identical. The KingQuad back here, right in there underneath the lights, there's a support on the frame that runs across, and I noticed that the Quadrunner does not have that. The brakes are just wee little guys in here. The KingQuad brakes are set way back in just because of the depth of the rim, but otherwise they look pretty good. You'll notice that there's just a cap right there on the hub. That's just to block off where your shaft would go through if you had 4-wheel drive. So that's about the only difference really in the front. Your A-arms are different because of it being a non-4-wheel drive model. The ball joints look like they're a bit heavier on the KingQuad, and the shocks and everything look to be all the same. Looks like the shock mount is a lot heavier on the KingQuad, but the same racks, otherwise they're the same. So for up there, basically you just don't have the 4-wheel drive stuff, and the A-arms and everything are built stronger. Coming to the motor is the same. The Quadrunners are 250s and the KingQuads are 300s, which is actually a 280, and these are actually like a 240 or 239 or something. I'm not 100% sure. So anyways, here's your fuel line. Oh no, or is that an air line on there? Yeah, that's our air. So this one does also has a vacuum line, so they actually have those vacuum pumps on them too. I understood that some of the Quadrunners didn't have vacuum pump on the bottom of the, or a fuel pump on the petcock. or what we're calling a fuel pump. You can see there's a hole there where the front drive shaft would have went through, and it has all the provisions, so all that stuff is the same. As far as our plastics, everything looks the same back here with our seat and everything. The frame on the back end, the KingQuads look like it's built a lot heavier. All the shock mounts and everything look the same. Exhaust is the same. Yeah, everything looks about the same. I think the KingQuad's got heavier A-arms in the back also. But our biggest differences are up here on our dash. They got the same headlight switch, kill switch, throttle, brakes. They don't have a speedometer in here or anything. They only got a high and a low range. They don't have the BOLO. Obviously no two-wheel drive, or no range selection, or not range selection, or no four-wheel drive, or because they're only two-wheel drive. But everything else looks pretty well identical. You're gonna see gas caps different. Your neutral and reverse lights are up here, and you got your big headlight up there. But just our simple reverse in the same location, and all we got is a low and a high. It's kind of weird to drive actually. But batteries, everything are the same. It's kind of weird not having headlights up in here. And as you can see, that battery tray is missing. I'm sure he has one. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, there you go. That's the side-by-side comparison of the difference between a mid-90s Quadrunner 250 and a KingQuad 300. From here you can really tell that they're a lot skinnier because they don't have the fender flares, and your tires are quite the size difference. I gotta say, the KingQuad is built a lot heavier. And oh, here, one more main difference is if you look underneath here, there isn't an oil cooler, where all the KingQuads have oil coolers. So that was funny that these things are just strictly air cooled. There's not an oil cooler on them at all. So that's interesting. Everything else looks the same as what I'm used to. Typical rotted off exhaust. You will notice that they got the U-joints in there instead of CV shafts, which is common. In Canada, they actually had a Quadrunner 300 model, which was essentially a KingQuad. It had the 5-bolt rear end and the 4-bolt front end, but I don't think they ever offered that in the United States. It was a Canadian model only. I'll show that on my channel if you guys are interested in seeing it. I got a buddy with one, but instead of it having CV shafts in it, it actually has U-joints in it instead of the CV shafts. So I found that quite interesting. But you're gonna find that one last thing is that your steering up here is a different design, because you got a differential in the way, and this one, the steering shaft comes way down low. So these things are a lot more simple, but you stay on top of maintenance. Everything is the same electronically by the looks of it, minus some features. But otherwise, that's the differences between the KingQuad 300 and a Quadrunner 250. I hope if you're contemplating buying a Quadrunner or a KingQuad, this helps you out, and just to show you if you're ever wondering what the differences are. So I think I've covered everything. I'm sure there's more. If you see something that I missed, just chime in.
As always, guys, thanks for watching, and please give the channel a like and a subscribe. If my videos interest you, please click on my channel and check out my other videos.